Two teams got better in the AFC South, and the Texans were not one of them. The Texans stand pat on the roster as is, make no moves whatsoever. I believe it's a major mistake, but we'll get to that. Here's the teams that got better. The Jacksonville Jaguars, who come to Houston, they got better. They traded with the Raiders for wide receiver Jacoby Myers. Gave up a 4th round and a 6th round selection. The Jacksonville Jaguars did a 4 and a 6 and acquired Jacoby Myers. Obviously, Travis Hunter went down with a knee injury, so they lost a receiver and a cornerback there. And this is a replacement. Brian Thomas Jr. has not been what they thought he was going to be.
He had 1,300 yards last year.
Yeah, he's been struggling this season, so they were in need. So they bring in Jacoby Myers and bolster up that wide receiver room. So they got better. And then up in Indy, the Indianapolis Colts made, one of the blockbuster moves today. They traded 2 first-round picks and Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver, to the New York Jets for cornerback Sauce Gardner. So now the Indianapolis Colts, who have or had, I don't know exactly where they're at right now, but one of the highest-scoring offenses in football, and now they've shored up their defense a bit, adding one of the top corners in the league. And Ron, you mentioned this earlier. I did not realize that they had gotten Ward before the season. Was it before the season, obviously?
Yeah, but Travarius Ward's on IR. Remember, he was warming up, and one of their tight ends just ran him over in warm-ups, like not at pads on, and he got ours. He'll be back. Yeah.
So he'll be back at some point, but those are the 2 corners. So those 2 teams had some need positions mid-year here, and they got aggressive at the trade deadline, literally in the last few hours, and their team got better. Also, I think it's worth noting the Rashid Shaheed was my hope for the Texans. He was a guy that was out there that I thought would be available, that wasn't going to cost him an arm and a leg, first-round picks, that kind of thing. Wide receiver with the New Orleans Saints, specialist with the New Orleans Saints. He gets dealt, but he doesn't come to Houston. He goes to the Seattle Seahawks to join Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp in that wide receiver room. Gives them another gadget guy, a guy that has some elite speed that can take the top off the coverage as well. He's going to go well in there. I would say that the Seahawks offensively, their personnel was pretty similar to Houston's when it comes to one high-end receiver, an old veteran guy that it wasn't what he used to be, but he still can play a little bit, and they needed to add to the weapons offensively, and Seattle did that. So that guy did move. I was hoping he would come to Houston, but he didn't.
They led the league in big plays.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold led the league in chunk plays.
Already.
And now they're adding another chunk player.
Right. That's beautiful. That we've already played him, and they're adding that kind of player. The Cowboys, for those Cowboy fans out there, or those that just love that hate listen, the Cowboys made a couple of big moves today. The Cowboys traded first and second round pick, I believe, for Jets Pro Bowl defensive tackle Quinnen Williams. So they're obviously bringing in some reinforcements in the middle of their defense. Quinnen Williams is, one of the better defensive tackles in the game, has the potential to be one of the best interior defensive linemen.
3-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he's the real deal. And Wilson, the middle linebacker from the Cincinnati Bengals. Logan Wilson, they traded there as well. So Logan Wilson, Quinnen Williams are both now Dallas Cowboys. And the Jets trading Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner. They are loaded up with 2 additional first-round picks, 2 additional second-round picks, and they got a handful of players back in return. Adonai Mitchell, I mentioned, as well as Mazi Smith, the defensive tackle from the Cowboys. So the trade deadline is come and gone. The Houston Texans stand pat. Ron, I don't know where I know how you feel about the organization, but just about the team's chances of winning games moving forward. Did you think they were going to add somebody? Are you disappointed they didn't? Where are you at with that?
I'm not disappointed they didn't, and I'm not really surprised that They didn't. I think from a perspective of them, I truly believe they think they have the guys in-house that can get this team where they want to get to. Now, I completely disagree with them, but I think they believe they've got the group. They've got so. I think there is somebody making decisions, a high decision maker, that is with the thought of, I don't know if this team and where we are right now puts us in a place where we should be this aggressive. At 3-5 right now, I don't know if. I think there's somebody that may be also saying maybe not right now to be that aggressive. But within that, I think even more though, Clint, I think they believe they've got the horses. They just got to play better and execute.
Yeah,
I think that's probably more than anything.
Yeah, look, that's their MO. I mean, I think if they thought they had the right blend of players at the beginning of the season, it wouldn't shock me one bit if they don't feel like they've still got that blend of players that they feel like they can go win some games with. I agree with you. I disagree. I don't think you have the talent on the offensive side of the football, even with a championship caliber defense. I just don't believe you have the talent on the offensive side of the football to be a true contender. You're not scaring anybody with Nico Collins. Period. That's just it.
Alone. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There ain't enough elsewhere. There's not enough. I love Dalton Schultz and what he can do and what he's done this year. If Christian Kirk's got some tread left on the tire, cool. If these young cats who you banked on getting more production out of and being a bigger part of your offense, maybe they'll come along. But right now, I mean, they are a non-factor in the Texans' offense. You hadn't figured out how to get the most out of Woody Marks at this point in time, and so I just don't see how you've even fooled yourself into thinking that you can be competitive at a championship crew. But we shall see. The point here today.
You seem to be surprised that they didn't make.
I'm shocked.
You're shocked.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that you sit here at the trade deadline and because I think everybody in that building has championship aspirations. Like I think everybody in that building thinks that you've got a championship caliber defense. I think everybody thought that they could do a lot better with the offense that they put together. I mean, I think this is a group that is a championship or bust type of group. I damn sure know this is a group, D'Amico at least, that's a guy that hey, man, I got to at least get where I got to keep showing improvement. I got to keep getting there and making noise, and maybe one day I'll kick the door down to a Super Bowl, but I got to keep getting in and making noise. I know that. I mean, that's – so I say all that to say it's hard for me to believe that those guys look at this offense, even healthy, look at this offense and go, yeah, we got the horses. I think it's blatantly obvious you don't have the horses. I don't think Christian Kirk is who you thought he was. I don't think either one of your rookie wide receivers are who you thought he was. And you've got a crew in Tank Dell and Brevin Jordan and Cade Stover who have been injured. And, you know, I think you probably knew who Nick Chubb was, and I think Nick Chubb has probably been exactly who you thought he would be. I think you got a rookie in Woody Marks who has shown flashes to be able to help this team in a big way. But you're still giving snaps to Wild. So I think it's very difficult for me to sit here and believe that good football minds looked at what they have offensively and went, yeah, man, we're gonna roll with this and not waste a year of a championship caliber defense. So yeah, it's hard for me to believe that these guys, as great of football minds as they are,
and the hope is you hope they're always all right, man. We're all right. Let's just get better. You hope that's the thought, but sometimes.
Well, you ain't doing that. You're going backwards. I mean, This is second year in a row. CJ's third year where he and everybody around him, you're going the wrong direction. And so when guys like Jacoby Myers are out there for a 4 and a 5, I don't know how real it was, but the thought was that David Njoku was out there. The thought was that Breece Hall was out there.
Third is what was reported.
Yeah, I mean, these are all moves that if you feel like you're a real contender and you're just a cup, which I believe that this team. Now we're talking roster construction. We're not talking about coaches. We're not talking about schemes. I believe this roster, even if you had great scheme, I think you would still be short on the offensive side of the football. I think you're a guy or two away on the offensive side of the football from being a real playoff championship caliber contender. And I think that should be blatantly obvious to anybody involved. And so I'm not saying that you should go out there and give up a bunch of first-round picks and shoot in the dark, but I do believe that being aggressive and maybe even overspending a tad, if you're going to do it, this would be a time. Right now, you're standing pat with your quarterback out in a game that you got to win, and it just seems like it's one of those, Ron, for me, that's like, we're going to concede the season and just kind of.
I mean, they would never couch it that way, but at some point, it is right. We don't want to just hurt our potential future right now. Yeah. Our quarterback is out. We are struggling right now. You know, who knows how long our quarterback may be out? Who knows how long our tackle may be out?
Yeah.
You know, maybe this ain't the time to get aggressive.
Well, that's the interesting thing is you know the thought of, because it's not, if you don't make a move at the trade deadline, which the Texans didn't, then really the only way that you can get better from a roster perspective is guys getting healthy. And I'm not talking about these short-term guys. I'm talking about the longer-term guys. If you're banking on Cade Stover coming back and making a huge difference, I hope you're right, but I don't see it. If you're banking on Tank Dell coming back and making right out of the gate, being ready to go and making this huge difference, I just don't see it. I think it is an absolute long shot. If your thought is, well, next year we're going to get all these guys back, well, now you got a bunch of injury-prone guys that you're banking on. So, yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow, Ron, because I do think the Texans are right on the cusp, man. They're right on the cusp of being a championship contender, and that's hard to say when you're a 3-win team, but I think they're better than a 3-win team.
I can't go there.
Yeah.
Oh, a playoff contender. I can go with you there. Championship, I can't.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking now. Look, I'm not talking about the offensive play caller. I'm talking about a roster. I think you're a couple of guys away on a roster from being a championship contender. Absolutely. With that defense, absolutely, 100%.
I don't know. Yeah. It's hard to take the coaching aspect.
I agree. Right. I agree. No, I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, I'm just talking about the collection of talent. Like, forget. I mean, there's no way around looking at what they've done with the offensive coordinator. I mean, there's no doubt about it that starting over from scratch this year with a new offensive coordinator, and that new offensive coordinator being a guy that's never called plays before, clearly was a mistake. But if we're just talking roster construction, I mean, yeah, I believe that. I believe you're a couple of dudes away.
Yeah, they need, and maybe them couple of dudes are across the front of that offensive line, and maybe that's it. I don't know. Tough go of it with some people. I see some people texting in. They're phoning it in. Season's over, so no trade moves. I mean, again, I certainly don't think that's how they're talking it or couching it. Right. D'Amico did say yesterday, hey, man, we don't need to talk about playoffs, not until we start playing better. So I do think they are, reeling it back a little bit from the, hey, man, we're close thing. I just think right now, if they're going to make a run just right now, I think their thought coming into today's deadline, if they're going to make a move, they trust and believe it's going to be the dudes that are already in.
That's right.
And again, I don't agree with that, but I think that is clearly where they are. I think they're in store for some major changes potentially coming up after this season.